President Biden delivered his second State of the Union address tonight, urging bipartisanship and a divided Congress for his agenda.
So joining us tonight to break down what the president's agenda might mean for Ohioans, Republican strategist Terry Casey, Democrat strategist Brian Rothenberg, and we heard Columbus and Cincinnati mentioned tonight. So you're the Democrat on the panel tonight. Tell us what you think this means for Ohio.
Well, I mean, he said finish the job, and that seems to be a launch for his campaign, too. I mean, it was really about that. But I thought talking about Intel, talking about the chip issue, it kind of encapsulated a lot of stuff. Encapsulated the fact that we've grown about 500,000 jobs a month. So despite inflation, the economy's so hot, it's the Fed's having trouble putting it down. What's weird is the Speaker of the House didn't even stand for the Intel announcement, which I thought was strange.
There were several times throughout the night he didn't stand.
Yeah, that's
he didn't
true.
applause. It looked like he was trying to be bored.
Yeah.
Talk about your reaction to tonight's address, including that moment where we saw him talking about cuts to Medicare, Social Security, as he said, being proposed by Republicans. Then we heard a lot of jeers. We heard a lot of heckling. And then he seemed to have a moment where he was able to turn things around.
Well, obviously, Republicans were offended by that because there was only one person who made a brief mention of it and since dumped the idea. So it's not a Republican effort to cut off Social Security or Medicare. It needs to be fixed, and that gets to the bigger issue of our economy, the deficits, inflation, and the fact that the polling, and we'll see in another 2 or 3 weeks, State of the Union messages, Democrat or Republican, normally don't have much shelf life that's very long. The real question is, what are you going to do, and how does it impact real people in Central Ohio when they go to the grocery store, when they go to buy a home, when they go to buy a car? Those are the long-term issues that you've got to deal with, not just one speech.
And those were the Republican points when Sarah Huckabee Sanders was able to come out and tell us what she thought about the president's remarks. And to her point, inflation is up. People are struggling at the grocery store. And even though we have a hot job market, that hasn't brought things down like gas prices. And one thing that I picked up from her speech was she said it used to be right and left. Now it's normal and crazy. Did she go a little too far?
I think she did. I mean, crazy. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene sitting over there. I will say Rick Scott actually did propose sunsetting Social Security and Medicare.
And everybody else attacked it. But
I
it's a
thought
stupid idea.
For people that attack the acuity of Joe Biden, it was brilliant how he turned it around and made it a standing ovation to support Social Security and Medicare. Look, right now the economy is hot. It is 500,000 jobs a month. And the fact of the matter is we do have high inflation, but we have high inflation for a number of different reasons, including the recovery from COVID, including what's going on over in the Ukraine. But it's a very different type of inflation than what happened in the 70s. Right now, the inflationary problem is the hot growth, including housing and things like that are here. 3% unemployment. I mean, that's unheard of when you have inflation.
And this was supposedly the kickoff to his campaign to run for re-election as president. But the question is, when only 30-some%, low 30s, of Democrats want him to run again, there's a whole lot of questions. So we've got a long ways to go. And on the spectrum, I think there'll be lots of things to talk about in 2023 because...
So you don't think he did enough that he might have turned around some of the very low poll numbers that were reported just this week for him among Democrats?
And not just the poll numbers, the criticism of him being 80 years old and the stamina. I mean, what do you think seeing him tonight in his performance?
Well, it was a good performance that he gave, but people also, performances are one thing, it's what really happens to people day to day in their paycheck, how far their paycheck lasts at the grocery store. And gas prices were down a little more, but now they're back up, and they really haven't dropped as much as what he said. So again, the economy long term is the issue, and we're a long ways off. But yes, Biden performed well, and I think the Democrats, a lot of them aren't happy, but a lot of them are coming around to it looks like he's going to run again.
He didn't spend a lot of time talking about the border, which is the issue that we know Republicans and people on the far right will not let up on. And when he talked about fentanyl being so damaging for so many American families, people were saying it's your fault.
Well,
we're in that age where people are willing to yell at the president of the United States during the State of the Union.
Times.
It is a very different environment than when Obama did and someone called him a liar. what I would say is that, you know, it's a little unfair that we've had Democrat and Republican presidents who have not been able to get anywhere on the border. And when it comes to fentanyl, this president is trying to put in place a program, just as we have been for a long time, including on opioids. We've been dealing with that for decades here in Ohio. He didn't convince Terry, but I do think he convinced a lot of people tonight that he's more than willing and ready to tangle, and he's got an agenda, and it's a family agenda. It's a people first agenda.
I want to talk about police reform, because he spoke about it, but he didn't say much. He did issue kind of this order, do something now. Should he have gone further?
Well, he should have gone farther. And one of the things, as I was reading the New York Times, hardly a conservative publication, they were making the point that in January, the Department of Justice was supposed to have a database ready, because one of the things that's key, Democrats and Republicans agree, you need better data so that police officers that are a problem in one state don't get hired in another state. And there's other things in a database is important, and Department of Justice is way behind in doing what was promised.
But, you know, we still haven't enacted some of the laws that we needed to enact since what happened in Minnesota. These shootings continue to happen. He is trying to push some key pieces that he thinks maybe he can get a bipartisan agenda by. Remember, he's got to get through a Republican House with a weak speaker.
Yeah.
So it's really hard, Carrie, to go that far without losing the ability to get anything done.
Plus, effectively, he needs 60 votes in the U.S. Senate, which is not easy to achieve.
No, it is not. But gentlemen, we know we will be talking about this in the weeks ahead, and it will be really interesting, to your point, in a week or two to see, do the numbers go up, stay down?
Yeah.
You know, what has this done to change the public perception of President Biden?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks to both of you.
Thank you.